Hey guys, Jason Christie here with Bass Resource, and we're going to talk about wintertime spinnerbait fishing. When I'm talking about wintertime, I'm talking about the coldest months of the year wherever you live. Doesn't matter if it's Florida, Texas, Missouri, Tennessee, wherever you live. First of all, just to I fish a lot in the wintertime. After deer season's over with, 1st of January, I'm typically out there fishing, and we fish a lot of smaller tournaments, jackpots and stuff like that, just to get me back in the groove of tournament fishing. And it's funny that, we win a good amount of them. Water temperature's 45, and it's just funny to hear the next week the rumors of how we catch them. Last year I weighed a 25-pound bag. Rumor is, I'm jerk baiting brush piles and stuff like that, dragging a football jig, and the truth is I was on the bank throwing a spinnerbait. The difference in the wintertime is you have got to have some color in the water. And when I say color, I don't mean, your muddy water and stuff like that. If I had to pick a perfect color, I would want a foot visibility. That way I know those fish are going to get up there shallow, but they're still able to pick up my bait whenever I'm fishing. Here's the difference spinnerbait fishing in the wintertime. You're not going to get a lot of bites. A great day of wintertime spinnerbait fishing for me is 10 to 12 bites, but I will tell you this, when you get those 10 to 12, they're going to be the big ones of the lake that you live on. So as far as setup, wintertime's another time when I like to use a longer rod. This is a 7.4 medium heavy, and the reason I like the longer rod is because the bites aren't going to be as ferocious. And the fish aren't going to fight as hard. So this rod's not as stiff as the one I use in the spring and the summer. I can slow roll it. I can watch that rod really bounce. In the wintertime, I said the term slow roll. That's what I do. Spring, summer, fall, I fish the spinnerbait a lot where I can see it, a foot or two below the surface. Wintertime, it's always out of sight. And a good rule that I like to use in the wintertime is I split the water column. If I'm fishing 5 foot deep, I want that bait down 2.5, 3 foot deep. 2 foot, same way, down out of sight. So that rod is really, really key in slow rolling the bait. 22-pound Sunline shooter. These fish that are biting a spinnerbait are not line watchers, so you can get away with big line. Super slow reel, the slowest that you can find. This is a Hyper Mag by Lew's. As far as spinnerbaits, this is whenever we lean into Colorados. I like the willow leaves, if I have to get out there, 10 foot or deeper. But these days when I get out there 10 foot or deeper, there's just better baits to catch them on, in my opinion. A swim bait, a big crankbait or something like that. So when I'm talking about wintertime spinnerbait fishing, I'm talking 7 or 8 foot or less. I really like a Colorado blade in the wintertime, and the reason being, if you haven't thrown a spinnerbait, a Colorado blade, it's going to slow that bait down. I can just reel it real slow. That Colorado blade is going to keep that bait up, and it's going to let it really, really slow down. In the wintertime, I also like to beef up my trailer. The reason I do that is I beef up that trailer. It's going to float the bait. The more plastic that you can put back here, the more it's going to slow that bait down and keep it up off of bottom. So as far as colors, you really just got to match your conditions. Your shad colors, the clearer the water is, the dirtier water, chartreuse, blues, and stuff like that. If I had to pick one that's just an all-around favorite, I can grab it, go fish, any kind of watercolor, would be chartreuse, white, and blue. I've won $250,000 at least just on that color. So keys to wintertime, slow roll it, find you some dirtier water, and have patience. You're not going to get that many bites, but they're going to be big ones.